Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time my opponent went with Clan Angrund, the new Dwarf faction, and I decided again to bring the Warriors of Chaos. Now I went with a couple of new units there, which you'll probably notice right away, which is the Feral Manticores. And we'll talk about modes up. Okay, so let's take a look at what we did here. Pretty simplistic build actually, but sometimes simple is not a bad thing. Chaos Warriors with great weapons times 7. I brought 2 of the Chaos Feral Manticores, 1 Kolek Sun Eater, 1 Hell Cannon, and 1 Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. My opponent brought a more complicated build here. He has 2 Rangers hidden in the woods. We have the Grumbling Guard, as well as the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, and then 2 Longbeards, 1 Hammer, 2 Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, 2 of the new Bolt Throwers, 2 Gyrocopters, no Brimstone Gun, and he also has a Rune Lord as his lord there. Pretty fancy looking ride there, if I do say so myself. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now I have artillery, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Of course I don't know these Rangers are here, but they will make a rude introduction at some point. And we're going to go ahead and start firing the Hell Cannon at these little hammer fellas. And bam! Just a devastating hit, dead center. Really took a lot of health out of these guys and also killed 6 models right out of the gate. So my opponent begins to move forward, and I notice he's got his gyrocopters coming towards my right, so I'm going to swing over my Manticore to meet them. So I have 2 Manticores against the 2 gyrocopters. Now the gyrocopter is very fast. It has a speed of 110. The Manticore only 85. But when you get close, you can get that charge speed. Sometimes you can catch these guys a bit, which I'm going to attempt to do. In the meantime, the Hell Cannon misses against the hammers and just about strikes the Rune Lord, but not quite. The Hell Cannon overall pretty accurate, so I don't mind it. So we got a little air chase game going on here. In the meantime, my Hell Cannon is not being the most accurate, which is unfortunate, but otherwise I'm just going to wait and let him start to come towards me, because as far as I can see he doesn't have any missiles. He just has these 2 bolt throwers, so I kept Kolek back a little bit and I'm not too worried about it. So here I pull back, he continues to pursue with the gyrocopters, so here I'm going to catch him. And these things, the gyrocopters, they're just terrible in melee, so when you get a hold of them you can really chew them down and do pretty good damage to them. Now, yeah, I start chasing his gyrocopter a little too far here, and then I start to notice, oh, what do we have here? Oh, we have Rangers. So he does have range. Pretty interesting, the Ranger, the fact that they're able to stalk like that, because it does add an air of unpredictability to the Dwarfs, which is something among many things that they desperately needed. So I think that's going to help out a lot and open up some avenues that maybe weren't there before. So he's going to come forward with just the gyrocopters again, and I'm going to shoot a fireball into the middle of his men and put more damage on those hammers, because they're the biggest threat out of his infantry line. And I pursue the gyrocopters, and now I'm going to make the big push. I move the infantry forward. Kolek brings down some lightning here on the Dwarfs, those Longbeards. Does pretty significant damage, and then his missiles are going to start to open up on my Feral Manticores while they're trying to finish off that gyrocopter. So there's a lot of stuff going on as we begin to clash here. Now I went with so many great weapons because I was just thinking, you know, all the Dwarfs have high armor, so you know, if you got a can, bring a can opener, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and charge into him here. His Dwarf Warriors do not countercharge, which I think is a mistake there. Kolek's going to come busting through, doing what he does, which is smashing the hell out of everything. And with the relative low mass of the dwarfs, they're pretty easy to scatter about. He's even going to come over here and say hello to the Rune Lord, give him a little slap. Doesn't do a lot of damage to him, which I was surprised by. Otherwise, across the line, we have our infantry battles going on. Now, he was able to take out my Chaos Cannon, which was unfortunate. Or my Hell Cannon, I should say. So I decided I should probably return the favor on his bolt throwers. And I got rid of one gyrocopter. The other one's pretty badly beaten up. So the Feral Manticores are going to come up to try to deal with his missiles. So let's see how he treats the bolt thrower here. Go like pounding away at these guys. And up on the line here, he's got his Lord fighting my Hell Cannon crew. So the Chaos Dwarfs are trying to get some action against their Dwarven brothers. The Chaos Sorcerer Fire, I've just been casting Cascading Fire Cloak, I believe is what it's called. And he's also been shooting off fireballs here and then. There's another one of Kolek's Lightning Blasts. Does a pretty good job of putting some damage on that Regiment of Renown. So now when we come back here, he's down to just one bolt thrower, and it's taking a beating. And both of his Rangers have been chased off by the Feral Manticores, and the Manticores took virtually no damage in that combat. Off goes the bolt thrower. So pretty soon here we're going to pull these guys back and see if we can't finish this thing, because it's starting to shift in my favor pretty strong. So I decide I want to use Kolek to smash the back of his line, and I want to use the Feral Manticores to go after his Lord, I believe, at this point. Yep, they're both targeting his Lord. So the Rune Lord over here. And, sorry, a little jerky there. Boom, in they come. And they're going to put some pretty serious damage on him right out the gate. He has great armor, but not a ton of hit points, obviously. And his melee defense is pretty good too. So the Rune Lord overall for a caster is going to be pretty tanky, but not tanky enough to deal with two Manticores on his own. So I see these Dwarf Warriors with great weapons coming over, probably coming as relief for the Lord. So I decided to have Kolek step in and do his thing. He's up to 57 kills at this point, and dealt a hell of a lot of damage. Now I see these guys starting to reform back here, but they've got a long way to come back to the battle. So I'm triple teaming King Ironhammer here, which is one of those little ghost heroes they have access to now, which is pretty crazy. Ethereal Dwarfs, I thought I'd seen it all. And over here, his Rune Lord has been broken by the Manticores. Kolek smashed up the infantry. And the only person interested in fighting at this point is King Lun. He is not unbreakable, but apparently he's not keen on quitting either. So we're just going to rush everything over there, and he does, in fact, give up the ghost, pun intended. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. They're calling it a close victory. Yeah, I can see that. Kolek, 79 kills, did fantastic. 41 kills for my Chaos Sorcerer using the Fireball, so that was pretty good. Infantry overall did well. This one did fantastic. The Feral Manticores just gave me the mobility and the ability to go after his missiles and his gyrocopters, and they did fine for that. The Hell Cannon did not have a good day, but of course it did draw a lot of fire from my opponent. Now, taking a look at his army, King Lun was very impressive and almost impossible to kill. With 3 units beaten on him, that's all the better I could do. The Grumbling Guard did quite well, and his gyrocopters didn't do that great, but they did do some significant damage. The Rangers were the big disappointment, and I think the bolt throwers needed to do a lot better. The hammers did great, even though I had half them dead before the fight even started. So, good game to my opponent. Recommendations for him, I'd say gyrocopters used to be super effective against Chaos, but now that they have the longer range Javelin, Armored Marauders, and they have access to the Manticore, you're probably going to find the gyrocopter harder to use. The bolt throwers were good. If they weren't targeting, and I don't think they were, Kolek the whole time, that's where they should have went. So just a couple of tips to help out there. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.